Hello everyone and welcome to the Joe Collins podcast. So what the Joe Collins podcast is going to be about, so we're getting different guests on week by week talking about their mental health challenges, and hopefully you can learn some things from it. So today I'm lucky enough to have on Simon Thorpe, a good friend of mine who, a friend of his and mine, mutual friend, got in contact with me last year. You know, he was struggling with a few things mentally and asked could I help him out. He's the first person ever life coached, and big credit to him for coming on tonight, because it takes a lot of balls to come on and talk about things you've been through, especially as a man. It's really difficult. So thanks a lot for coming on, Simon. Really grateful to have you on, mate. So firstly, Simon, when did you first start experiencing challenges with your mental health? When did you first have the experiences? How old were you and stuff?
So one of my first experiences was, it would have been around 2016. Now, I probably weren't fully understanding of mental health at the time.
What, did you sort of not really know much about it, and one of the sort of people as lads that would do write it off a bit?
Yeah, that was it, yeah. So right at the beginning of 2016 actually, my granddad passed away. I lost my granddad.
Yeah.
And it was one of the sort of first times where I'd lost someone so close. I'd lost a granddad before that, but I was really young at the time.
So you'd not really felt it as much then.
That was it, yeah.
So grieving.
Definitely. So I was more understanding of it at the time. So obviously it knocked me a lot at the time, but like I say, I wasn't fully understanding of what was going on with me. I knew I was upset, I knew I was down, but I was putting a lot of pressure on myself.
To not be down and to get over it and to just toughen up over it, like.
Definitely, yeah. And I wanted to sort of move on from it, try and just be there for other people, and I wasn't focusing on myself a lot.
So for the viewers, how old were you in 2016? How old were you?
2016, I would have been 19.
19, a really difficult age.
Yeah.
Just after leaving school.
Yeah.
So it was mainly the granddad, and how did you feel it, and how long did it last for? What was your emotions like? What negative effects was it having on your life? What was you struggling with?
Yeah.
Did it have an impact on your socialising, on your day-to-day life? Where did you struggle with it?
Yeah, so mainly just putting pressure on myself. How it happened at the time, I wish I could have been there more, and I was like waking up every morning and just thinking about it constantly all the time.
Couldn't take it off your mind.
Yeah, but like I say, I was trying to sort of be there for other people and isolating myself from it. So again, caused quite a few issues because I wasn't seeing friends and things like that. And then
so you let it sort of hide yourself away from the world? Was your way?
That was definitely it. Yeah, but at the time I was going out with someone and I was spending a lot of time with her, and I wasn't seeing my mum and dad a lot, and it was really tough. But so it caused a few problems there because they weren't seeing me.
Or were your friends? Obviously, when you're down, having a girlfriend that is, makes you feel more comfortable, make you feel better. It's easy to just get stuck in that rut of being the person you sort of feel best with.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was one of them things where I knew I could talk to her about it. I could tell her my feelings and stuff like that, and I didn't want anyone else to see it. And then I would just go home and make sure everyone was all right, and then I'm straight back to my girlfriends. And just trying to be sort of isolating my way from everything. And I wasn't telling anyone my problems at the time, which I should have done.
And you think that built up and made it worse, and you think it only added to it because you didn't tell the lads, they didn't know what was going on with you, so they sort of maybe could have started judging you and didn't think you wanted to hang around with them because you've seen the girlfriend, and it just sort of spiraled.
That was it, yeah, definitely. I would go out with my mates, and again they were there a lot. They was messaging me, making sure I was all right, but again I just sort of put it to a side. Yeah, I'm okay and stuff, and then I'd go out with them eventually, and then I'd just be quiet. I wouldn't speak.
Yeah, I wouldn't really
kept myself to myself. Yeah, and it did cause a lot of problems, and I sort of drifted away from my friends quite a bit. I had a couple of fallouts with a couple of mates and stuff like that. So again, caused more problems, which led to more mental health trouble and stuff like that. But I just wasn't fully understanding of it at the time.
Which is a massive thing with mental health. When we experience it, it's so hard to face up to, admit we have, mental health challenges, to put it in a positive perspective, but we'll learn and realise after we've dealt with it that the sooner we hold our hand up and say we've got a problem or say we're struggling, the quicker it is to getting better. But very easier said than done, and very hard to do at the time. How did you feel about getting help? Did you try and get any help, professionals, or like I said, did you just brush over it? Did you reach out to anyone or think about it or have a look?
Yeah, so at the time I went to my GP. My mum was a little bit concerned because she wasn't seeing me.
Right,
I was quiet, I wasn't myself. So
yeah.
she made me go to a GP, and then a GP referred me to a therapist.
Yeah.
So I went to see a one-to-one therapist, and it wasn't for me at the time.
Cool.
So I would talk to them and get all my feelings out and stuff like that, and I'd be so upset, and I'd walk out feeling worse than when I went in.
Right.
At the time, and again I wasn't understanding of why I need this. I was just going, and at the time I was saying, I'm just going, talking about my feelings, coming out worse. So I wasn't working on it. If anything, I was just.
What did you think? Going in and talking about it, do you think it helped as a first step, but do you think it sort of let you down? There's no second step, there's no teaching how to get better, how to work on yourself, how to find your answers?
Yeah, definitely, and now especially, going to people, ironically, talking to them one-to-one like yourself, when I met you and spoke about yourself, it's been the best thing I've done. It was just at the time, I wasn't understanding of what was going on, and I was just going in there, probably being a little bit selfish, going, I'm speaking to a random person here and telling them everything that's going on. Yeah. And I'm walking out feeling worse. Why am I doing it?
Yeah. So and then, you found did the therapist just sit and listen, or
that was it? Yeah.
There were no sort of instructive feedback of how to deal with things. You just sit there, somebody to listen to that's not part of the family.
And that was it. Yeah. So at the time, I was going home and I was saying this isn't working for me. So then I tried group therapy. Right. I went to group therapy sessions, and there was a lot of work involved with that. Yeah. But again, probably being selfish, I was sitting down and sort of just being with people that I didn't know. I didn't feel comfortable talking to them and sharing my feelings and stuff like that. So I was very, again, isolating myself.
So in these group sessions, were the people with similar problems, or were they just from a range of different backgrounds?
Everything different backgrounds. Yeah, you were sat down listening to other people talk about what was going on, and there was all sorts of issues in there. And
do you think you'd have done better with people who had similar issues as in grieving? Do you think that would have been easier if it was just a specific group, or do you think the group environment just wasn't something that worked for you?
Probably the group environment, yeah. At the time, like I say, I felt more comfortable either by myself or with my girlfriend at the time. So I was going to a group setting, being around these people that I didn't know, and I just didn't want to speak. I didn't want to. I didn't want to be there.
Involved in the session.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be there. Yeah. And again, even ironically, again looking back at it, now I feel most comfortable being around people and talking to people and stuff like that myself. And so it at the time it would have been a great step. But I just wasn't in that place.
I suppose the positive you could take from it is that you actually faced it and tried to get help at the time, but it just wasn't the right help, which is something a lot of people struggle with. I know myself, the roads I was pushed down through seeing doctors, nothing wrong with seeing a doctor, made me sort of feel worse because we were just pushed down the tablet way, which there's nothing wrong with, but it doesn't, it never gets you the answers of your problems. So it is a big struggle people have with mental health, that when they actually have the balls and face up to things and take that big scary risk of going and getting help, that they don't think the help's right for them, and they don't think there's enough help, and they go and get help, and it probably makes them feel worse because they don't get what they need, and it pushes them to probably a worse place because they think there's no way out, which is a big shame and something we need to deal with as a culture more and get better at. But so how did after going to the groups and seeing the therapist, how did your mental health go on then? Did it stay the same? Did it drop? Did other things go on, or what happened from there?
Yeah, it probably deteriorated worse, to be honest. Like, again, more incidents were happening. Again, I weren't speaking to friends, felt like we got friends. I even stopped speaking to a couple of family members and stuff like that, and I just wasn't dealing with it. I was putting on weight. I'd stopped playing sport, which was a massive part of my life. I quit a job during that period, so I wasn't working for a short period of time and stuff like that. And I just felt so comfortable just being by myself. And it probably was up until last year when I met yourself where I took that next step. Yeah, definitely.
Dealing with it.
Yeah.
So it lasted for another, what we're talking, 2-3 years really?
Yeah, good towards that end, yeah. And more sort of incidents happened where during the COVID period, I lost my grandma to COVID, which was a horrible thing to do, Couldn't see her because of COVID and stuff like that.
And couldn't see what for the last few weeks before she died?
Yeah, that was it, she's in the hospital and you can't go and visit and stuff, so that took a massive impact. The day after, we lost our family dog, which was again horrible. We had him 16 years. Really, really tough one.
Yeah, because as you can see, dogs never leave your
side. I know,
your best friend.
He's a buddy as well, definitely.
two big blows in such a short space of time, and coming at a time where you can't really get out to do anything positive to take your mind off it. So we all had the kick in the shin of COVID and being locked down, but losing to the people closest to you must have been horrible. So how was you around that time? Did it have any, you know, what was your day-to-day life like then? What was your thought processes like then?
That's the point where sort of the more dark stuff started creeping up, and I was having an understanding, like, again, but I was just saying to myself, I really don't want to deal with this anymore. I was going to a really, really dark place, and then...
What you didn't want to be,
effectively, and it led to some stupid decisions, to be honest. And again, I just wasn't dealing with it. I was feeling sorry for myself. I didn't want to cope and speak to people. I felt embarrassed to talk to people about it. And then I lost my girl. Well, I didn't leave. I broke up with my girlfriend at the time, so I didn't have my girlfriend to go to.
To that coping mechanism, that comfort blanket had gone to. So it was like knockback after knockback after knockback.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Everything sort of piled into one.
Yeah, definitely. And then it took a serious conversation with my mum during, like, one of, again, stupid decision I made, and my mum had a serious conversation, was like, we're going to go and get you help. So I ended up going to NHS hospital, to the mental clinic. Had a conversation with someone there who referred me to a crisis team in Leigh. And I went down there and got referred there. I had to go there 3 times a week, just checking up on me and stuff like that.
How did you find that team? Do you think they benefited you, or do you think that was just like a sort of a saving mechanism to make sure you didn't go any further? Did you gain any sort of positive benefits, learn anything from that, or was it just just literally sort of save you?
Well, it was a strange one, to be honest, because at the start it really did feel like I was just going there to make sure I was alright. It was literally, I turned up, they did a questionnaire with me, asked me feelings and stuff like that. Short discussion, and then I'd go away with my mum. So during that time, my mum wouldn't let me drive anywhere on my own, or go anywhere. So she took me all the places, and they made sure I was with her all the time. Otherwise, it would have meant staying in the crisis clinic. So during all that, and then as it went on, I started to get a one-to-one person I was speaking to regular, and we got on really, really, really well. And it was conversations with her that led to her saying to me, listen, you need to speak to people about this, because it'll make you feel miles better. And that's what led me to sort of speak to, at the time, I wouldn't even talk to my dad about it.
Terrified. Do you think, growing up, obviously I met your family, they're lovely, would they talk about emotions, or they keep it in? Was your mum a talk, was your dad not? You know, it's a big thing in families, isn't it?
It was. I think my dad was one of them who I would speak to, and he would give me the sort of feedback back where I would get the impression where it's going, I can't do anything with that. So it would he would turn around and go, oh, you've just got to go out and do something and do this, and it was really short and sweet. And at the time I wasn't I wasn't in the right mind. I didn't want to go out and do the gym. I didn't want to go out with my mates and stuff like that. So I couldn't go to, not that I couldn't go to my dad, I just didn't want to. Because it wasn't, selfishly again, it wasn't the sort of thing that I wanted to do at the time.
No, of course not.
My mum, again, I'd go to my mum and she'd sit down and she was a listener more than anything. She'd just listen to me and help me and stay with me if I needed to. So again, during that time, the dark time, I really needed the help. So I didn't want to go to my dad, and my mum was listening to me, but I wasn't really getting anywhere with it. And then once I finally made that step to talk to both of them, they was like, right, we really need to go forward with this. And then it sort of led. It was my dad who got in touch with other family members, my brother and my sister. Within 2 hours, my dad told my brother he was around the house, and he was like, come on, go out, we're coming out, having a chat. So I went out and had a talk. I was around my sisters. My sister was massive help with me, giving me loads of, she was taking me to appointments and stuff like that, loads of stuff. So it was talking about it that just started it off for me. Even my mates that I've got now, mutual friend who got me in touch with yourself, absolutely amazing with me, and that was a tough one to do as well, talking to my mates about it.
Talking to your mates, isn't it? But did you think as soon as you started opening up, that was the start of the end of the problem?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I could go somewhere, and it gave me a massive incentive where I had all these people around me. Again, even work's been absolutely amazing through it all. It was brilliant. Got such good people around me at work at the moment. and I was feeling like I can't let these people down. I've got these are helping me. These are helping me. My brothers are, my sisters are, all these works people. Yourself, you're the. I cannot let these people down. I've got to use them. And whenever I felt down, I would go to them, and they'd be thankful for it. They'd be like, "Thank you for coming to me. We want you to do stuff like that," and it just gave me such a confidence boost. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's interesting when you talk about the balance of your mum and dad and how they dealt with it. I think most of us have a similar thing with the mum and dads, where the mums are more listeners and the dads are more say kick up the arse and get going, and there is benefits to both sides. But it's finding that winning line in between of being able to talk and getting things off your chest, but then like I say about your dad, it's not what you wanted to hear, but that was his way of caring, because it's probably the only way he knows. And keeping busy and being out there, keeping your mind busy, doing positive things is part of the process of getting better, isn't it? Being able to enjoy your life, but it's finding that line of being able to talk, keeping busy, but then finding out actually what's going on here, what's caused this, and how do I deal with it, and how do I get better, which is obviously what I hope I've been able to teach you and we've been able to look at. So what was it that you found sort of helped you move forward? What habits was it that we looked at that helped you move forward? Now you start feeling better? Was it just looking around at what you got in life and feeling grateful for it, or was it setting goals like Simon's goal when he came to me was to step back on the rugby field again, which he'd not done for a couple of years, and in his head at the time he was doubtful he could ever achieve it, and I said to him, no doubt we'll get there in the space of a year, even with the COVID restriction and the lockdown. We got you back on that field and achieved the goal. So what was it you found most beneficial about the self-improvement methods you recommend to the viewers here?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things what we spoke about, one of the first times I met you, we just went on an hour walk, and again it was just addressing it and seeing things as a different point, where you were saying to me, right, what you've been through is a tough thing. But there is a way out of it, and we can do these sort of things, and we can turn your negative mindset into a positive mindset. So again, like you mentioned, one of the things was even just get down the gym. And again, like massively appreciative to yourself. Where we've been doing a well many sessions. We've done meeting up
for a year or so. We've not just been working with Simon mentally, with training the gym, PT sessions every week, just because his goal. Everybody needs goals in life, because growing and having things to look forward to is what will make you happy. No matter what's going on in your life, you've got things to look forward to and goals you want to achieve that are going to drag you out of bed in the morning. More than likely you will feel happy in yourself. So going to the gym led towards Simon's goal, so we got stuck in there too. It was tough for him at the start because he wasn't in the physical shape he prided himself on being in. He had to get the sick bucket out a few times, but he gritted his teeth and realised that if he got through that, there would be a better day and he could achieve his goal. And so much credit to you for facing up to that, looking yourself in the mirror and thinking, right, it's going to be hell at the start, but if I go through this hell, I can achieve my goal in here. And not many people have had the balls to do what you did, mate. So that was massive, and just having them little goals and things that get you out of the bed in the morning and focus on is when we're down is what we're missing out on, because we're spending too much time thinking about what's wrong with our life, thinking about what we might have had, instead of thinking, right, I've got one life, I'm going to live it, what do I want to do with it in my life, what do I want to achieve, where do I want to go, what are my goals, what's my purpose in life, and finding it and spending all that time focusing on that. Because if things are going wrong in our life, we've got that purpose and we know where we're going and things to look forward to, we can usually survive most things. Most people, when they end up in real bad places and addicted to drugs, alcohol and stuff, it's because they lose their purpose, they don't know where they're going, they've no goal, they don't think they can do anything with their lives. And it's all just your mind lying to you. Easier said than done, but that's what it is at the end of the day. And to get out to that place, you've just got to set them goals and get that excitement back in your life and things to look forward to. So much respect to you for doing that, mate, and to do it in such a short space of time. So looking back now, mate, so yourself in 2016 or yourself pre-lockdown, what advice would you give yourself now? What would you say to yourself?
Definitely, what I would say to anyone going through it is just try and not be so harsh on yourself. And again, it's really ironic, because one of the first times I heard that, I thought, what can I do with that? And looking back at it now, it's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I've been given. Where I would say to myself, if I'm having a bad day, I would take that so heavily throughout my day. I would think about it all the time. Whereas now I think, I'm allowed to have a bad day, as long as I sort of get through it and I can go to the gym, like do something, or even get yourself. One of the big things you taught me was get a book out, read a book, just take one little positive thing from it throughout that day, and just get yourself through the day, and don't be so harsh on yourself where you think, oh, why are things so bad, or stuff like that. That's a massive piece of advice that I would definitely give to people right now. And again, if you've got people out there, just drop them a message if you're having a tough day. Many times I've messaged yourself or people from work or mates that I've got, and they are there to support, and you don't need to think about the day then that you're having. You can just have a normal conversation, we can have a laugh, I used to go out with drives with my mates quite a lot.
Do something simple.
Just take my mind off it, and again, just don't be so harsh on yourself. Just try and think positively and get through the day.
Because even with all this stuff I've done myself, Sam has done, you're still going to get up and have bad days. You're still going to have like a morning where, for example, myself, I might have 3 clients cancel. But it's about, that's a bad morning, but don't let it be a bad day. There's still stuff you can do. A lot of things you can do to make sure it's still a good day, and you can't control sometimes, most of the time, the things that go wrong in the day. All you control is your attitude towards it, the meaning you take from it, and what you actually focus on. You know, if a few things go wrong in the day, you're going to focus on that, or you're going to think, right, sod it, I'm going out for tea tonight, sod it, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to have a great session, sod it, I'm going to join in the class. It's about just not letting your day be ruined by a few bad things. But like I say, a big thing I believe in it is a great point which Sam's made about not being too harsh on yourself, not beating yourself up for feeling down, not beating yourself up for making the mistakes, but the fine line between that and sort of being brutally honest with yourself that it's down to you to get out of this place. Anybody can say what they want to you, give you all the help in the world. You know, I said what I want to Simon, but there's only him who can get himself out the place he was in. It doesn't matter what I say, he's got to listen to it. The best advice in the world isn't going to make a difference unless you face up to it, you know, find out what's wrong and sit there and think hard of it. What am I going to do in my life? You know, what am I going to set in stone? What are my goals going to be? What do I want to achieve in my life? And get that determination of, I'm not going to have a bad life. I'm not going to let this bad stint or these bad things ruin my life. So it's that line of not being too hard on yourself, but also being brutally honest with yourself. That it's up to you to get out of it. And no matter how much help you get and how many people are there for you, there's only you who's going to pull yourself out of it and can take them actions to make your life better. So it's a real good one. There's a fine line, and you know, can get complicated between not being too hard on yourself, but then being brutally honest with yourself that it's up to you to get out of it. It's up to you to take that action. It's up to you to make your life a better place and listen to the advice you've been given and what people are helping you with.
And we had that conversation as well, didn't we, mate? Where one session where need this spew bucket again. And things weren't going where I wanted to, and I was dwelling on it and stuff. And it was that conversation that me and you had, where I sort of realised, where, hang on a minute, rather than think, oh, I've been sick again, this is a bad day. I can turn my mindset around and go, hang on, I've got out of bed, I've got down here, and I'm looking good. I'm good up for the day. I'm thinking positively for the day. I'm not dwelling on the fact I've been sick. And it led to some. It was probably the kick up the backside that I needed that day.
A big turning point, wasn't it? Because I think as well, I think you'd only been training once a week then, and your diet hadn't been the best. And we came and said, like I say, all them positives you've turned up your face that you're trying to change it, but you're not training the rest of the week and you're not eating right. So you've got to help yourself here, else this is a waste of time.
Definitely.
And it was probably that spark moment where you realise, I'm doing well here, but for this to change, I'm going to have to work hard. It's up to me whether I do it. I can have anything I want to, and I can achieve them goals. So that was a big turning point for you, wasn't it?
Massively, mate.
And that's sometimes what we need. It's sometimes if we want to change and things are going wrong and stuff, but we haven't changed. It's usually what they call, we've not hit the emotional threshold. We've not experienced enough pain where you get to the point of, right, I'm sick of being like this, I'm sick of feeling down, I'm sick of my life being like this, I'm not standing for it a day longer. For myself, the 2 times were the morning, after taking the drugs, I thought, what the hell am I doing? You've got to get out of this mess. I should have got out of it a few weeks before and I got jumped again, but I'd not hit what they call the emotional threshold. So that morning, after taking the drugs and walked into the hospital, that's when it hit for me, and I thought, I need to sort my shit out big time. I'm wasting my life, what the hell am I doing? The second time, after feeling sorry for myself a couple of years after it, you know, with my sister offered me the calm remedy on the first day of taking antidepressants again. I thought, what the hell am I doing taking antidepressants? No offence to anyone who does take them. They're not going to heal me. It's not going to be the answer. And they got that fire back in my belly to start training again, to start getting back on with life. So sometimes if you want to change but you've not quite got there yet, you just not hit that threshold. So if you want to try and hit it to get it there quicker, start associating more pain with not changing the pain it's going to cause you in your life. The pain of carrying on being the way you're being and thinking negatively, and the bad effect it's going to have on your life. So what would be your main piece of advice, Simon, to anyone struggling right
now? For definite, just try and take that first step. Realise that you are struggling and it's okay.
Yeah.
Speak to someone who you think you can't speak to. Like mine was my dad, and when I had that conversation with my dad, he's probably one of the best people that I go to, you know, when I'm having a bad day. Yeah. Where if I'm upstairs and I'm dwelling on stuff, I'll come downstairs and I'll go, I'm having a bit of a bad day, Dad.
Yeah.
And it is genuinely one of the best things that I've done, to just take that little first step, and it will lead to better things for your life.
Yeah.
Definitely. It did for me anyway, so that's what I would do. Just try and say to yourself, all right, I'm struggling here. And if you're really struggling, same thing, I'm struggling, what can I do? And just what your first instinct, if it's to go and speak to such a body, even if it's to go to the doctors, anything, just go and do it.
What changed your relationship with your dad in dealing with, because you said at the start, obviously, he gave you some advice and it wasn't really what you wanted to hear, but now, where it got to the point where he helped you, was you just more honest with him and that sort of changed? Did you tell him how down you actually was?
For definite. My dad knew that I was upset. He could clearly see that I was isolating myself, going upstairs in my room constantly. I was never going downstairs, so he could see that I was upset, but he wasn't aware of how upset I was.
How dark a place
and I would speak to my mum, and one of the things I'd say to my mum was, "Oh, please don't tell my dad. I don't want to know him like this."
Yeah.
And as soon as he knew that, it was a sort of trigger for him to say, like, right, okay, I'm understanding how bad he is here. Yeah. I need to help him. And I saw a side of my dad that I never thought I personally would see, where he would take me to the doctors and he would get me sorted. He's there when I'm down and stuff like that. So it's changed massively, definitely.
Yeah, it's a big thing. I suppose we all need to realise at times that no matter how a person is emotionally with us in our family, whether they're old school and tough. Sorry, the dog just trumped. They all really, they'd be so upset if they found out it wasn't turning to them and asking for help. They'd devastate them, and it probably, it'd ruin what they thought of themselves if they thought we didn't think we could turn to them. So no matter what a person is like with you, how sort of tough they are, tough loving with you they are, talk to them, because they will want to help you no matter what the personality's like or how much you're scared of talking to them. Anybody in your family or friends will always want to help. Sometimes you feel like you bother them because they're just getting on with their own lives, or they're not really seeing it in you. They wish they'd sort of see it in you and pull it out to you, but just turn and talk to whoever you can. And like Simon said, it's the first step of getting out there.
And it can lead to so many things that you probably wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
Like before I spoke to my dad, I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
And it was that step with my dad where I thought, right, I feel comfortable to talk to my mates.
Yeah.
Spoke to my mates, and my mates introduced me to you.
Yeah.
And now me and you were really close mates, and we help each other out. And it can, like I say, it can take you to places where you wouldn't have even imagined.
Yeah. So do you think through that experience, your life is now a better place for what you've learned as a person, and the people it sort of brought you to?
Oh, for definite, yeah. And again, I still have those bad days, but I know that I've got people there and I can speak to them, and I deal with it so much better now. I don't want to isolate myself anymore. No, I want to get out. I want to go to the gym. I'm trying to train as much as I can do. I got back playing rugby. Took a bit of an injury during it, so I'm not playing at the moment. But again, a massive goal, and something that 2016, 2017, 2018, I would never have thought of doing.
The year and the fact that you actually stood here on a podcast telling people
definitely,
it's sort of life's turned around through just facing that.
Yeah, definitely.
The big moral of the story is always face up to your problems, face up to your fears, and be honest with yourself, and there's always a way out, no matter how dark it gets. What a story, and well done, mate. Thanks a lot for coming on.
No problem, appreciate it, mate. Thanks for that. Nice one.
Hopefully we'll be on again next week with someone else talking about the mental health struggles. If anybody wants to come on and tell their story, please give me a shout, and I hope there's something you learn from today, and if there's anything I can do to help anyone, please drop me a message. Thanks for watching.